Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call tonight's meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, March 24th, 2015. We're in the village boardroom. It looks like it's about 7:03, 4? What are we looking at? PM. We have 7:02. Okay. We have a board meeting followed by a committee of the whole meeting. Our first order is the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Sherby, please call the roll there.
Trustee Calpagno.
Present.
Trustee Patricio. Present. Trustee Carey.
Present.
Trustee Rita is absent. Trustee Stecker.
Here.
Trustee York.
Present.
Present. We do have a quorum this evening. Janet, do we have any presentations?
No, we do not.
No. Okay, item 5, public comments. To give as many visitors as possible an opportunity to speak. In the interest of adjourning by 9, please limit your comments to 3 minutes in length unless further time is granted by the board. There could be questions on active or general matters. So.
I'm going to try to stay calm, but I've been dealing with the board or the village all day today. I followed the signs for 2 inches of snow plowing all the time. Well, yesterday, they decided they would plow both sides. So I was on the other side of the street, and they were going in and out on my side of the street. So all this, they went around the cars. So because I was on the other side of the street, all the snow ended up in front of my house. I could not get to my walkway. I had to call somebody to help me in the house. And I called the village, and there was a very nice girl that I talked to who didn't really understand me, because she says, well, you're going to have to call a private contractor. I said, I'm not going to. She thought it was the apron I was talking about, and that would be understandable. And I ended up getting mad and hanging up, and I called her back, and I said, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hang up. And then I was crying by that time. And she got a public works guy, and he came out. He was very, very nice. His name was Clint. He says, I see what you're saying. And I said, well, you might as well tear down all the snow signs. If you're not going to follow them, he goes, well, nobody does. I says, then you got to get tickets. He says, well, so I'm not going to follow them anymore because nobody else does. And why should I go out at 10 o'clock at night or 6:30 in the morning to move my car? So now it finally got cleared up, but it should not have been that frustrating for me. Because I had to call somebody in the house to help me get to my house. Because I can't get over a snowbank. So I'm very frustrated, and I don't know what to do. I was,
Have you given your name to our clerk, young lady?
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, my name is Sandra Shukat. I'm at 619 Newcastle. And I've been here 60 years in Westchester. And I feel like they don't care about us anymore. I really do.
Well, you know what the ordinance is. I'm sure you've been here through it all. That depending on the side and the odd and the even, they try to plow one side one day, and they try to get the other one. If they can get it on the same day, they try to get it on the same day. You know what I mean?
So why are the signs there?
Well, the sign is to get everybody to move from one side to the other so at least one side is clear. That's what they try to do. And I know the chief, they've issued tickets. I don't know if they issued anything yesterday for the snow. If it,
Well, yesterday, though, I moved my car onto the right side.
right, so the other side should have been open, correct?
But it should have been, and it was.
Okay.
But there was a couple of cars that they just went in and out of the car. They shouldn't have been plowing that side at all. But they went in and out of the cars and piled it all up in front of my house because I did the right thing.
Well, yesterday we wrote 44 tickets and handled 29 calls for 4 officers. That's a lot of work. So we don't tow the car, we write tickets. So you could leave it, we could write the ticket, you could let it sit there and wave to us, but we wrote 29 tickets for a snow route and 15 for odd even. That's about all we could do.
No, I think what she's saying, John, is say they couldn't plow on the east side. We plowed the east side, and then we went and plowed the west side, which theoretically should have been done the following day, this way here, then all those cars would move to that side, and then you'd be able to get that side. Is that what?
No.
No, okay.
They should have plowed my side today, because today is Tuesday. So my side should have been plowed today, not the other.
Yesterday, well, that's exactly what I'm saying. They plowed both sides yesterday.
Right.
And that's what I was saying. And they should have plowed one side yesterday and the other side today. And what I'm saying to you is, if they can get both sides on the same day, they try to do that.
Well, it sure was a mess.
And but it left you as a mess. I get it. I get it.
There's a problem.
Yeah, okay. But you called and we came out and rectified it at some point, correct?
After a lot of stress, sir.
Okay.
It didn't get done till like 3 o'clock.
Okay. Well, in the future, you have the director's name, there's a supervisor. If you're not getting the satisfaction when you initially call, ask to speak to one of them. Robert will return the call. He's the director of Public Works.
There was messages out. His secretary was out today. So all there was messages.
Ma'am, you can always ask for me. I'm the village manager, and I'll direct it to somebody.
I left a message on the phone.
On my phone?
Yes.
I did not receive a message.
I gave my address, my name.
Okay. Well, in the future, just, if before you get too frustrated, just
Okay, I have
ask to
never
speak with
had-
me.
I have never had Public Works answer my phone. Never. And I called for other things.
Okay. I'm
When
saying,
we had other presidents, I had stuff done before I was off the phone.
okay. Well, just ask to speak with the village manager, and we'll get it handled.
Very frustrated, you know?
I understand.
After 60 years, I've never flooded before in these last few years. Now, every time it rains, I'm flooded. I'm really seriously thinking of moving out.
Well, we hope that you don't, but if you do have a problem and you don't feel you're getting satisfaction, just call and ask for the village manager, okay?
Okay?
Okay. Any other public comments? Anything? Okay, do we have any public hearings?
No, we
Nope.
do not.
Consent agenda, we have items A through C, record of bills ending 3/19/2015, 705-074.77, approval of the minutes of the special meeting on March 3rd, village board March 10th, committee March 10th, 2015, and March 17th, 2015 as well, the special meeting these are all 2015 meetings. The third is a resolution approving a change order for contract modifications of a contract between the Village of Westchester and Copenhagen Constructions for services related to the Mayfair Reservoir Expansion Project. I believe we talked about that as well at the last meeting. Is that not correct?
Yes.
Anybody need anything pulled?
Could we just have a little discussion on C? I know
Okay.
we had asked for some direction as far as to what they were gonna,
Okay,
Do,
well,
yeah.
we'll pull that for right
Yeah,
now. We'll
pull
do
that
that,
then.
we'll
Pull
do it
that, yeah.
specially. Okay, for A and B, is there anything that needs to be pulled? If not, is there a motion, a second for those approvals?
So moved.
Tommy,
Second.
Frank, roll call, please.
Trustee Kilpatrick,
aye.
trustee Gattuso,
Aye.
trustee Perry,
Aye.
trustee Stecker,
Aye.
trustee York,
Aye.
president Bowie.
Aye, motion carries. Item C, is there a motion, a second for the approval of the resolution?
So
Please for discussion. Tom, second. Paulie? Discussion. Angela?
Robert, I know I asked before, and I don't know if you were able to get the information. This is to finish removing hauling away the rest of the dirt from the reservoir there?
Correct.
Did we get some kind of an idea how much per day? I mean, are they gonna be able to accomplish this within this time period?
Yes,
Do we feel confident at least?
yes. There are, we've asked him to hold up before he begins again. We have a permitting issue that we're getting through. We believe that we are through that issue now, and what we're trying to work out is, so he can make his schedule, and if any weather-related incidents come up, that we can work out with Chicago Highlands, that he's got a place to bring the soil. Previously, there was an issue with frozen dirt. They didn't want to accept it. When he mobilizes, he's got costs, and when Chicago Highlands won't accept, so we think we've worked through all those issues now. Plus, we're in a stage now where the ground should be thawing out for good. So pretty confident he's going to get it done. He told me 8 days, and he's out of there. I think it's going to be more like 2-3 weeks, but he should be done. We believe we've worked through all of our permitting issues now, where we do have permission to haul. So we don't see anything outside of maybe weather-related issues getting in the way of him remobilizing, getting out to the site.
What was the date of the extension?
A1.
May 1?
Robert, are they starting tomorrow? Do we have a clue?
They were waiting for a green flag from us, assuring that it was okay to start. I did not get back to Greg yet. I think, well, Janet and I will talk tomorrow and make sure that we've cleared all the issues with the IEPA. And I'm not absolutely confident that we can give them the green light yet. There's a notification period that we have to go.
Actually, the last email I got from Greg Walterstorff on Friday was that they were going to be directed to start today. I believe they got delayed a day because of the unexpected snowstorm yesterday, but they do have authority to go ahead and start hauling, as long as they've coordinated with Tom Healy and he's ready to accept it.
So basically, we're looking at about 8 days of good hauling.
Right, and the permit issue, I'll try to be succinct with it, that Robert's referring to is, after many, many years of being in one permit classification, EPA has changed the classification of the landfill. So they're requiring notification to any municipality within a 3-mile radius of the landfill if they're going to change the topography. So Tom Healy just found out about this early last week, and we had a conference call with all of our staff, our engineer, and representatives from EPA who have represented. We explained the situation to them, the nature of the project, that it was an intergovernmental project with MWRD, it's clean fill, and they gave us authority. Initially, they said we couldn't bring any dirt there until this permit was revised. They've given us authority to go ahead and stockpile dirt at the golf course, but not necessarily change the topography. So we can still bring the clean fill there. There is a 21-day notification period, which I will be calling there are 20 people who were required to be notified. Be calling them and asking them to get those responses back as soon as possible. So that would allow then the golf course.
Any risk of us having to take the dirt back out of there?
No, but not bring any further dirt. That's the issue.
Our understanding is that they will be able to haul and take it to the site. And what we're focused on is getting the hole dug. And if we have to work out issues on how they're going to spread it at the golf course, we want to get the level of protection up and get that area seeded before we start getting large rain events. That's our biggest concern.
Robert, can you also make sure that the street sweeper keeps that mud off the streets and everything else? That's been one of the biggest complaints that we've been getting.
Right.
Is, the mud all over the place and stuff. And
If he does increase his productivity, we'll have to have that street swept 2-3 times a day in order to keep it
whatever
open
it
and
takes.
passable. So
Yeah, whatever it takes, because that becomes a big issue too, and we don't want that to be an issue on top of other issues.
Yeah, that came up at the senior breakfast, and Carl took care of it right away, and Janet and I were out there looking at the site this afternoon, and it's nice and clean like any other street, so far so good as of today.
Yeah, that was the ones that I was getting all the calls about, and said, we'll get the sweeper out there, so, okay?
Yep.
Thank you.
So, that's kind of where we're at. Okay, with that on the agenda, there's a motion by Tom and Paulie for approval. Angela, all your questions answered satisfactorily? Okay. Call the roll, please, Sherby.
Trustee Gattuso?
Aye.
Trustee Perry?
Aye.
Trustee Stecker?
Aye.
Trustee York?
Aye.
Trustee Calcagno?
Aye.
President Julia?
Aye, motion carries. Anything on the active agenda? I don't see anything.
Nothing
Jane?
this evening.
Manager's report?
Well, just a couple things. Our next regular board meeting will not be until April 14th, so I wanted to just remind everybody that the administrative offices and Public Works will be closed on Friday, April 3rd, in observance of Good Friday. Also wanted to mention that Mayor Puglia received word just yesterday that in recognition of his achievements in the field of government, the Order Sons of Italy in America, Grand Lodge of Illinois, Wisconsin, has chosen him to be a recipient of the Leonardo da Vinci Award of Excellence for 2015. So he will be honored at a ceremony on Sunday, May 3rd at the Beaujolais by Victoria in Schiller Park. So congratulations to Mayor Puglia for that award. And that's all I have this evening.
Thank you. Michael, anything?
The only thing I have is connected to the contract modification that we just did. Our purchasing policy requires the Public Works Director to sign off on those, and their form doesn't have a provision or a space, but I still think to comply with our purchasing policy, you should initial it or actually sign it, like make your own line. Just the format that they used didn't allow for that, but we want to make sure that we're complying with our purchasing policy. That's all I had. Thank you.
Board members, EDC, Frankie.
I did not, sorry, was not able to attend the meeting this week, so I have nothing to report.
Nikki.
Police and fire, they're doing an audit of the police eligibility list. That's still pending, so that's about it.
Paulie, anything, sir?
No, nothing. No news yet.
Angelo.
Our environmental commission was one short of a quorum. However, I know Janet and Jessica did attend the meeting, well, the meeting that was going to happen. So really nothing was decided on. However, we did have a member resign via email, and we do have another young lady that is interested who's going to forward her, has yet to forward yet her resume to us, you know, for an appointment to the commission. So
What my plans are, and I was talking to Tommy and Janet certainly today for the appointments. There's some expiring ones or some that expired. They're all over the months. I would like to try to do two things. Get all the appointments made by April 30th and go forward from that point on. So pretty much every April 30th, instead of one in August, one in July, one in September, one in whatever, I'd like to get it where, you know, somebody might have a short term. It might only be 10 months or 18 months or whatever it is. So everything kind of expires April the 30th, and then we'll move on from there, like we do with Mike and some of the other ones there. Also, what I would request of the board, and looking at the ETSB board, that's a one-year appointment in our ordinance. I think we need to change that to make that at least a two-year appointment. So we can have that always 2 years, which most of ours are as well. So I don't know if we can draw that up for the next time. I know Greg, I was looking at them all the other day, but I'm planning on having a whole list before all you guys of the renewals and the new ones. If you have new ones, I know Tommy's got a couple of new ones for the cab. So we'll try to do all of those at one fall swoop, so everybody knows around April 30th of whatever year that their term is expiring. If I'm not here, or the next mayor, or whatever the case may be, he or she will have time from, obviously, the time that they're elected, and they're going to be taking over sometime in May, that they could be working on whatever appointments they have, and at their first meeting in May, when they take over, that they may have a plan of what appointments they want to have to go forward with.
So all of these would always end on an April 30th, whether if you started in the middle of the
Yes.
year, it's going to end on an April 30th somewhere.
Right. It shouldn't be 2 years from October, or 2 years. It should be the expired term,
Within
or
that
the
2
unexpired term of the other individual.
Gotcha.
The only ones that last longer than the mayor's term, that I'm aware of is the Police and Fire Commission, where there's a whole bunch of state regulations involving them that would carry on 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, and potentially after the term of whomever is sitting up here. So I'd like to get that all fixed up and whatever. So I don't know if anybody has any objections. I know Greg probably doesn't for the ETSB, that both of those terms are expired. And in fact, the one gentleman, he was on an expired term for probably 10 years. Mr. DePietro.
Oh,
DePetro, I mean, his term expired in 1 year that he was on, and he was never renewed after that, as far as I'm aware of. So anyway, the way it works now is when there's an expiration, they serve until they're replaced. So in the commissions and that. So anyway, just so everybody knows. Tommy?
Cab's supposed to have a meeting on Thursday night. Other than that, I have nothing.
Chief?
Well, as a,
There you go.
Scared of batteries. I don't get it.
Sure that's not a dead one?
That's a good one. Let me see. Wait. How's polyanis and batteries?
It's for his hearing aid.
9 volt.
Talk loud.
we'll try one more.
Anybody else? I got double.
It ain't like we're talking to the masses here.
Probably need watch batteries if you're.
Why don't we just get a regular mic for them down there?
Double A's. Anybody?
Why don't we
need-
get a wired mic
He's
for
like-
them down there?
There we go.
Testing.
There you go.
Well, as I previously mentioned, yesterday day shift was a little unique with that snowstorm. We were prepared for it. It didn't take us by surprise, but they handled 29 calls for service during the day. A majority of those were motor vehicle crashes. There was a total of 44 parking tickets issued during that time as well, 29 for the snow route violation and 15 for alternate parking. We're following up with more citations today for the cars that obvious were never moved on the snow routes and the alternate parking. So we're following through, and it's always a way for us to find cars that are possibly abandoned. But for the last 2 major events that we had, that we cited cars, and we, I think, put tow notices on about 30 cars a few months ago during a heavy snow event when we had that blizzard. None of the cars had to be towed. Everyone complied, moved their cars. The only thing else that I have to offer is most recently, a few weeks ago, it was in the press release and the monthly report in the local paper. On the 1900 block of Boger and 1800 block of Hawthorne, we had 2 residential burglaries, and the suspects are currently in custody in DuPage County Jail. Our detectives are going to go there tomorrow and try to interview them. It's tied into a series of burglaries in the area with Bellwood, Broadview, Maywood, and we had 2 incidents. So looks like we're going to be able to clear those as well in the near future. So it's another good news.
Good.
So, and that's it. The next item is on the next meeting committee to hold for proclamation to get a car declared surplus to sell. So nothing else to report.
I'm understanding you're going to be speaking at the Chamber of Commerce next month?
They pushed it back. I believe they originally was scheduled for April, but then they changed the date to May.
Is it?
I'll have to check. It's in May 5th.
Yeah, I thought they
think.
mentioned
Yeah,
April
I've got
today.
a date for it.
They rescheduled, whatever it was. It was, ironically, it was to do with handgun safety, and it was an article that I just recently wrote on that topic for the local newsletter, and they asked me, the timing was pretty ironic that before the article was even posted in the newsletter, that they asked me to talk about this to their group. It's the 19th of May at noon at the Alpine. Originally was scheduled for April, and they rescheduled me, so unless it's changed again. But they wanted to just talk about the concealed carry issue and what that has, what impact that has on employers, and just general questions about handgun safety. So I'm going to bring some gun locks there as well that we have available for free that we offer on a regular basis. So I'll bring a limited quantity. See, Robert's ears picked up over here, said gun locks, so free. But you know, it's a big question about this concealed carry. Not as many people are going for concealed carry as you think. I mean, everyone thought it was going to be a bad thing, and there'd be people running out carrying handguns, and very limited number of people, because we get lists of the residents that are applying on a daily basis, and we have the ability to object, and really not a big interest at this point.
John, that date and time was confirmed today at the chamber,
Okay.
May 19th at noon,
Okay, very good.
at
Thank you.
Alpine House.
Okay. Yes, I'll be speaking at that event.
Thanks,
Mhm,
Melissa.
no problem.
Jimmy?
First, I want to congratulate St. Joe's for their
Absolutely.
capturing the 3A state basketball champions. The fire department, along with the police department, welcomed them home, and from my understanding, the kids were quite impressed. They actually wanted to see where the big accident was until they realized everything was there for them. So that's kind of cool to hear. Tomorrow, the 25th, I'm headed down to Springfield for Fire Service Legislative Day to meet the governor and all the local, all the reps, and discuss all the issues that are currently going on in the fire service. This Friday, I also have a meeting at Triton as part of the Emergency Services Advisory Board to help Triton plan academically where they're going to go with their future planning for the college and fire service and paramedic program. And then next Tuesday, I also have a meeting at Midway and other various agencies to coordinate our emergency response to a disaster at Midway or, God forbid, in the area, and what Westchester's role will be in that. I attended a similar one at O'Hare back in September, which ended up in a full-scale drill out at O'Hare that we participated in. And we'll see what our participation is with Midway after this meeting. So,
Thank you. Maureen?
The finance department, I've been all budgets all the time, but the front office, they have been working with vehicle stickers still. The vehicle stickers will be on sale till April 30th. After that point, the price will increase. But so far, it's been really good. We haven't had any notable problems or anything, so we're off to a good start.
Good.
That's all I
Thank you.
have.
Gregory?
Well, since the last meeting, let me start with numbers first with regards to the Illinois Department of Revenue's debt recovery plan. And then I'll get into some other information on it. But since the last meeting, I've uploaded 12,896 debts to the system. And the match rate has been much higher than anticipated. Somewhere around 72% of the names that I've uploaded have matched. So in the system currently, we've got 7,571 names that did match from those that were uploaded. And beginning on the 13th of March, we started collecting, or I should say we started receiving notification of offset. Doesn't mean we have the money yet. The money is going to be placed on hold for 60 days, giving those an opportunity to contest those for various reasons, and I'll get to that in just a second. But as of this very moment, last night, actually each night we receive notification from the comptroller's office letting us know how much has been held and placed in hold, starting that 60-day clock from that point on. But as of this moment, 308 people have been offset, if you will, been placed in the system as matching and attempted to receive money, whether through tax relief. In fact, we had somebody today that was coming to get state funds for, what was the term? Forgive me, hardships, if you will. It was a hardship through the state. They were going to receive funds to supplement their income, and because of that, money that they were going to receive in a check, they were debited that amount that they owed us before they receive any state money for a program that they're participating in for receiving money from the state. But that total revenue that's on hold with the 60-day hold is $47,046.76. Each day, as I said, we received notification. The first day was $200. Next day was $10,000, $13,000, $600, $14,000, $7,000.
So each day, and then this is where the information part comes, each day I take those lists that are provided to me with the names that are on them, respond to A&R Concepts, which is the company that held our debts, and they were holding and attempting to, they were a collection agency, so they were attempting to collect our original debt on this. So they're notified to take the debt out of their system for the time being and place that on hold, and stop notifying those people. And then at that point, again, in 60 days, we should begin receiving checks on a daily basis based on that 60-day notification period. Just as a matter of record, or as a matter of information for everybody, that some of the matches already have been identified as an improper match, and an example of that would be a naming issue. It was the same household, so what normally occurs is that it matches on the name and on the address as being a place where state funds have gone at one point, if not currently, have been remitted to. So, if, for example, you filed taxes at that address within the last 7 years and the name matches, it matches you to the system. There are, again, occasions where names are very close. There's going to be situations where juniors and seniors come into play. If you're a junior at that address, you may not recognize that. In those instances, and this is something that you can definitely have somebody call us on, and we'll explain that, but those individuals can then protest with the Comptroller's Office. The Illinois Department of Revenue will then, most likely at this point, they've said that they'll require some form of identification, identifying you as not the person, and you'll need to provide information on why you believe you're not the person, and show that there's another person there. So those are the situations that have come up thus far. In most cases, people who have called, we've received calls, people have received their letters from the state identifying them as owing the village money. But one thing that we're trying to get through to those who are calling is that they've been, number one, notified by either Red Speed or Safe Speed or us if it was a parking ticket. They've also been notified then by A&R Concepts, which was our debt collector prior to this system being put in place. So they've received approximately 4 notifications. So anybody who may be receiving a letter from the Illinois Department of Revenue because their check is being withheld, or in some cases being debited $200, $150, whatever it is they owe us, they're calling thinking, I may not have been in Westchester last year. I haven't been in Westchester in 5 years. It's quite possible that they haven't in some cases. But we just want them to know that you have been notified. This is not a brand new ticket. These are tickets that have been outstanding for a period of time. So again, the names come from all over. Some of them are from out of state, people who have moved out of state. I've noticed that. Of course, there are names from Westchester. So in the event you hear something, they could always call our offices here, and we'll explain exactly what the process of contesting would be. But we also want them to know that this is a debt that's been outstanding for a period of time, and they have been notified of this. This isn't brand new. But again, if anybody has any questions, I say this all the time, don't hesitate to email me, let me know, call me. Be happy to explain the program if I haven't explained it good enough now.
Greg, in the event that there's multiple agencies recovering debt through this program, and the debt is greater than the amount that that person's receiving?
Whoever requested it first.
How does that?
Who requested it first? We've had that already. In fact,
First served.
correct.
Okay.
And I don't have a copy here. Just to, I don't think it'd be appropriate to show it anyways. But the debt list for a particular day is broken down in the amount that was owed to us, the amount that was collected, and in some cases, the amount that's collected may only be, $5 out of a $200 debt. And then I let A&R Concepts, the collection agency, know to keep the debt in place. If it was a $200 debt, we collect $5, so $195 is still outstanding. We're not going to change that from the collection agency's perspective. And the state of Illinois still has that $195 request for recovery. And just as a side note, in case you've never just in case it was never brought to your attention before, one of the things with in our concepts and the collection agency process, a lot of times people are calling, and we get this in our records department, people call when they're either trying to refinance a house, when they're trying to buy a car, trying to get a cell phone is a big one. Cell phone companies, if they have an outstanding debt from the Village of Westchester, believe it or not, it could be a $20 parking ticket. The cell phone companies are requesting a $300 deposit. So they're, I don't want to say a majority, but a large number of the complaints or calls from people who have an outstanding debt previously or have had debt, the calls have always come in because of, I'm trying to do something. I need, to clear my credit. I need to get this taken care of. So I think the same holds true, and we're fine with leaving them in the system as long, and actually the state's fine with us leaving in both systems as long as we have a continuous communication between the debt recovery comptroller's office and the debt, it would be A&R Concepts. So as long as the communication, and we, send that information back and forth, they're happy with that. Yes. They don't want any outstanding, they don't want us to mess those numbers up. And they're very, very stern on that. Any other questions?
Anyone have a question for Greg on that? Okay. Everyone knows it was 2 years in the making, and it's finally come to fruition. Robert.
We've finished our first in-house design since I've been here, and the Roosevelt Road water main replacement project is out for bids. We just put it out yesterday, and ads are out there now. We're going to have a pre-bid meeting in April, and then we'll open bids on May 6th. We're also coming to almost done with the 50-50 rebid from last year on the sidewalk program. Do that in-house as well. We look to get that ready and out in April on the street for bid. The 2015 roadway reconstruction and resurfacing program is almost done. It's about 80% design. I'm going to go through a field walkthrough on that project, and we'll get that out to bids. I'm hoping in April, most likely May, though. The 300 kW emergency generator for Village Hall will go online for the first time this Saturday. We should plug that in. That will require us to pull the plug here and depower Village Hall. We will run the 30 kW, the existing gas generator that we have here for the police department. So we'll put those guys online and only have to take them off for about 15 minutes. And we'll run the existing generator while we get the new one wired up. And by Monday, when we all come in, hopefully we have an active, brand new diesel generator that will power the building for up to 3 days for a 24-hour period each day. So that's what the design is for. And hope to have that running and proofed out this weekend. We had Pinner Electric in today, and we're talking to them about rolling that contract over for a 1-year period. We should have that at the next committee of the whole meeting for your review. And we're on the agenda for the West Central Cook County communities to get 80-20 federal funding for Balmoral Avenue. They did accept it on the agenda. There'll be a vote, and we'll see where we fall in that competition for federal dollars. April 10 is the scheduled meeting, so we're hoping to get, as directed by the board, get some additional monies and 80% of the federal gas tax to resurface or reconstruct Balmoral Avenue.
Is that in LaGrange? Is that meeting in LaGrange or Northwood?
Yeah, it's LaGrange. I'll have to check. The last two were in LaGrange. It might be.
Sometime they switch.
Yeah, so I'll have to check the agenda.
All right. Anybody have any questions for Robert? If not, I know Melissa's not here.
On vacation?
Sure, be anything. Nothing. Okay, just a couple short things. We did have the senior breakfast. The department heads that were there, I want to thank you for your commentary. It was very well received by all the seniors who were able to attend. A lot of compliments after the fact. We had Mrs. Yarborough here last week. She talked about the home fraud, where people were putting their name on your titles and deeds and stuff like that. I think that went over well. If you haven't done that even on your own lonesome, get onto the Cook County Recorder of Deeds website. There's a little icon that you can click on that talks about mortgage fraud and fraud things, and you could actually get an alert on your phone or your email that somebody is adding their name to your title. So generally you'll end up finding it when you're selling or doing something, and all of a sudden there's a strange name on there. Mrs. Yarborough did present information that this happened to Stephanie Neely, and I have this coming up in our newsletter. The letter that the New York Times ran an article back in 2011, so this isn't new. It's just kind of hitting around the horn here. So if you haven't done that and you want to be having a little bit more protection, there was information in the last newsletter, but some will be repetitive in this time as well. That's all I have. I understand an executive session after our committee of the whole meeting. Is that not correct?
Yes.
Yes, no, maybe? Okay, under 5 Ilix 122C1, discuss appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body. Is there any property ones involved in that, Janet, as well?
Yes, just an update.
Okay. Also under B, 5 Ilix 122C5, purchase a real lease or real property for the use of the public body, including meetings held for the purpose of discussing whether a particular parcel should be acquired. So both A and B that are listed there will be discussed after the committee of the whole. Is there a motion to adjourn the board meeting?
So moved.
Tommy, second. Nick, was that you? Okay. All those in favor of adjourning the board meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition, say no.